about the Mexicans, you know.
True.
Don't you think they'd be talking about it as they came across the border? It's not happening. It's not true. It's not there. It's just simply a lie, another lie.
No.
And there's lots of them out there. Lots of lies. And lots of people. You see, the problem that people have is they listen to this from somebody, and they think that somebody is trying to do them a favor, and so they believe it without checking. You can't believe anything without checking nowadays. In most instances, a simple phone call can clear up most of these things. If not, about an hour in the library might be able to do it. The things like troops massed along the border, then, you talk to somebody from Canada who lives there. If there were troops massed along their borders, they would be jabbering about it a mile a minute.
Yeah.
It just is not happening.
I received a newsletter from one group, and in there I kept hearing this rumor about Georgia has chosen an alternate method of capital punishment, beheading by guillotine. So I did get on the phone, and in this article they mentioned a Georgia representative that was supposed to have introduced the bill.
Uh-huh.
So I went to my local library, got a book out that gave each state with the names of its representatives and phone numbers, and I called the Capitol building in Atlanta, and he wasn't in, and I talked to the lady, and I said, I'm calling to ask about this rumor about capital punishment by beheading. And the reaction I got from that lady, she said, no way. She said, if it was, really true, people would be really upset down here about it.
Yeah. Well, here's what's happening in a nutshell. They want their new world order. They want their one world totalitarian socialist government. They can't get it when there are people in this world who are dedicated to principles and ideals which oppose that. And when those people are armed. So they have to do things to make these people discredit themselves so that the vast numbers of people out there will stop listening to them.
Yeah.
Will think they're just a bunch of loony bin, crazy, wacko, idiot gun nuts that are going to open fire, kill everybody at any minute. And by golly, that's the way some of these people sound.
Well, that's some of the reactions that they're getting from the media. A bunch of wackos out there.
Well, doesn't that sound wacko to you?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you listen to some of these people, and you have to understand the Hegelian dialectic and the way that things have been done in the past or the way they're going to be done in the future. If you study the methods that the intelligence organizations and military and political movements move into a country and take over that country, you will begin to understand what is happening here. But not until.
I've sat and often wondered, you hear everything out there, but then I think about that, The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Uh-huh.
When you seem to be the weakest, you're your strongest.
Yes.
And, a lot of the other principles that are in there. And sometimes I feel like just stepping back from everything and taking a look at it and saying, okay, now let's look at this, let's look at that. What's really going on? Now, for 3 months, since August, when you shut down your shortwave broadcast, I've been in the dark, in a sense, until I got my satellite put up. And, some of the stuff I'm hearing on there, I have to admit, some of you wonder about, is this really true? Is this what's going on?
This usually just a very cursory investigation will tell you the answer to that.
Yeah.
Most of it won't pass the common sense test. And as my grandmother said, if it won't pass the common sense test, it won't pass any test. Period.
One other thing I'd like to ask about before I get off so someone else can get on, this omnibus...
counterterrorism bill?
I'm sorry?
The omnibus counterterrorism bill, or are you talking about the crime bill?
The crime bill for 1997.
Okay.
There's so much talk on the radio about it right now. Has the bill passed, or is it just something in the future yet?
To my knowledge, it hasn't passed.
Okay.
But to find out, all you have to do is call your congressman, and you can call them and ask them for a full text of the bill.
Yeah. Well, I usually do that. I'm going to have to start doing it again. Like I said, I've been out of touch with everything for 3 months. You know, shortwave, you can't pick up too much good stuff on there now. So, well, Bill, I'll hop off. Thanks for answering some of my questions.
You're welcome, and thank you for calling.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Folks, if you hear a little sniffling or something, we're all got colds around here. And I'm trying not to cough or sniffle over the radio, but occasionally I might slip and do that, and I apologize in advance. Good evening, you're on the air.
Hi, how you doing, Bill? This is Tom from California.
Good, hi Tom.
Yeah, you're talking about things that are total BS, and...
Yeah, what are you hearing around there?
What am I hearing? How about this next Mars space mission?
What about it?
Here, a few years ago, they said they launched a satellite to Mars, and it was going to take 10 years to get there. Now, all of a sudden, we launched one this month, and it's going to take 8 months to get there.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, they're claiming it's 330 million miles away. So if somebody out there can do the calculations, 8 months into 330 million miles, I wonder how fast this thing has to be traveling.
Well, it's got to be traveling faster than anything I know can go.
Yeah, that, and also this finding ice on the moon. One of the key elements of water is oxygen.
Yeah.
There is no oxygen on the moon.
Well, that's what they tell you. However, if you examine real photographs of the moon, it turns out not to be true. The moon does have a very small atmosphere, and if it has a small atmosphere, it may have water.
You really believe that there is a possibility then?
Yeah, it's a possibility. It certainly is.
Great. Well, I wonder what they're planning on doing with it.
I don't know.
Well, I just wanted to bring up that Mars mission because I find that just a total crock of bull.
Oh, they're building you up to tell you there used to be a civilization on Mars and it came here or it went somewhere else or something. And there's living, thinking things out in space, and they're far superior to us in technology and intelligence. That represents a danger. So all humanity must come together as one to oppose this threat, and you must be willing to sacrifice like they did in World War I and II in order to prepare to do battle with these things from space. And you can hear Art Bell right now scaring the hell out of everybody. There's a giant spherical thing accompanying the Hale-Bopp comet, and it's bigger than the Earth, and it's hollow, and there's signals coming from it.
Oh yeah, anytime I need a good laugh, I turn on the It's excellent. I've begun to wonder about the whole space program. I seriously think that there's probably a lot of people making what they believe is machinery that's going to be sent into outer space.
And then it never goes anywhere.
No, the company's actually owned by the government, and money's funneled into some black budget operation.
Hey, you're right on the money, my friend. The Apollo space program was the biggest fraud in the history of the world besides this UFO thing. And they may have gone to the moon, but they sure didn't do it with the Apollo spacecraft or those suits that they were wearing or any of that other stuff.
Almost definitely, and I noticed something on the news just the other day when they were showing a flick up in space, and they were saying that the astronauts were having a hard time opening the space hatch. Well, this pre-hatch opened, and when it fell, I noticed it ripple and wrinkle like it was made out of plastic. I just wonder which Disney studio they're filming that in.
I don't know.
Okay, Bill, have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Very astute and observant young man there. 520-333-4578 is the number. What kind of BS baloney crap is going around in your neighborhood? What have you heard lately that you'd like to sort of air literally and clear up? Maybe we can answer some of these things for you. Bigger than the Earth, emitting signals. It's hollow. How do they know it's hollow? Did somebody go up there and rap on it? Remember when you were a kid, you used to open your mouth real wide and hit yourself on top of the head and made a hollow sound? Oh, this is killing me. Good evening, you're on the air.
Yeah, hi, Bill.
Hi.
Went to a law meeting last Sunday.
What do you mean by law meeting?
Well, it's where a group of people get together and they discuss what problems they're having and what solutions to take.
Uh-huh.
And had this Jim Kellogg get up, and he was selling this $100 book that I don't know if he wrote it himself or he was advertising it for someone. And he gave this big, fantastic story about how Noah's Ark had crashed into Wisconsin, or had settled in Wisconsin, and how he could trace the white heritage all the way back through.
One of these British Israelists, a white race is superior, God's chosen people, and the rest of you ain't.
Yeah.
I can't say it, but I want to say it. I want to say it bad. Rest of you ain't crap,
Yeah. And that's, he didn't come right out and say it, but you could tell this is the route he was taking. He was saying how they had found the Viking, I guess it was anchors, the round wheels with a hole through it.
Uh-huh.
How they had found this everywhere, and how the Indian mounds are really Viking graveyards. And I tell you what, it was a